Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper. So, first video of 2023, we're going to do a full shop tour. So you can see all the improvements we've made over the last couple of years with the channel and with the shop, and so you get an idea of where everything is, how it's all laid out and how it functions for me. Alright, so we're just inside the front door here, and it's kind of a mess here. We really need a garage, and that's kind of the plan in the next year or so, is to build one so we can get some of this non-shop stuff out of here. But right here is some of the stuff that I've had viewers sent me, that and that. And then this is the article from Modern Machine Shop magazine, May of 2022, that I was featured in. So we got some of that here. And actually my sticker board for channel stickers. Anybody wants to send me one, it's right here on the front counter. I got a job that I just finished up. The customer is going to pick up here in the next few days. This is kind of my main front entry area, and it's still kind of a mess. I'm still working on organizing and cleaning. It's been a busy year. 2022 was very hectic, and a lot of changes have happened since then. One of those changes was I hired a helper for the shop through the youth apprenticeship program, and he's doing very well. In the first couple weeks of the year we spent cleaning and organizing, and he's been on the lathe and working, and actually those parts on the floor there are the first pieces he ever did on a lathe. So he's doing very well, and we spent a lot of time cleaning machines, organizing, and now we're finally to the point of where we can get back to work and feel like we're organized. So we'll start out over here in the, just past the front door is the 12CK Monarch lathe. This is the very first lathe I ever bought, and it's been a very good machine. 12 by 36. I sped up the spindle, increased the RPM. I'm running right around 900 on it now, so it's from 550 to 900. And been a very good machine, very happy with it. We just polished this up a little bit, cleaned it up, and looks a lot better. Next is the Worcester Shaper. Now, I bought this as a project, and I'm kind of at the point that I'm about ready to give up on this project and let somebody else have it. So if anybody is interested, you can email me. The link to my email address is in the About page on the my YouTube homepage there. So if you're interested, I just want to recover what I got into it. It's a very nice machine, very solid. Box weighs in good shape. I got a VFD on it in that cabinet. New motor, or new used motor, and I just need to let it go because I just don't have time to work on another project, and it's very close for somebody that wants to spend the time and fine-tune and get everything working just right. I would still like to have a shaper, but I would like to get something ready to run. So if anybody's interested, I would be gladly letting this go for what I got into it, and just reach out to me and we can talk. And over here is my steady rest and forejaw and faceplate for the 18CU Monarch, which is right here. Now the 18CU is the second lathe I ever bought, and it's 18 by 48 inch. Been a very good machine. In fact, it was just cleaned the other day, and then I did another little job, so I got to clean it up again. But this one has a rather slow spindle speed at 487, but I still do a lot of work with it. Even though I bought the Lion lathe, this lathe still sees a lot of use. 12-inch Gibraltar chuck on there. It's been just an incredible 3-jaw chuck. Very happy with it. I've got a machine DRO digital readout on it with magnetic scales, so very happy with this lathe. And here are those sky hooks that I built. There's a couple videos on the build of these. Just sitting here ready for the next lift. Now we're behind the Monarch lathe, the 18CU, which also has a taper attachment, which has come in extremely handy. And this door right here is my utility room, where the electric boiler, so the in-floor heat, the heat exchanger for the outdoor boiler, the pump and everything for that, the well, the water heater, the water softener, you know, hand washing sink. So everything is in here as far as utilities. And next to that we have our little tool room behind this curtain door. Now, I didn't have a curtain here before I put the Monarch here after getting the Lion, so this has been a great addition and keeps the chips out. So I have a bunch of 50 taper tooling, miscellaneous stuff, drills. I think these are my 2J collets, TG150 collets, some lathe chuck jaws, Allen wrenches, 5C collets. Here's some horizontal boring mill or horizontal mill stuff. Just miscellaneous everything. Here's some more 5C stuff, some bronze stock, more lathe jaws. It kind of needs a little organizing in here yet. I got a lot of tooling in this cabinet and these cabinets, and some wrenches and tools up here. And then all of my hardware is down here below the pegboard. There's all my plastics that I use on a regular basis, mostly Nylotron GSM tubing. So we do a lot of bushings out of that stuff. And just all my basic hand tools. So come out of there and we're right into the milling area. Let me back up so you can get a good view of what's going on here. So we have the Cincinnati number 2 ML horizontal mill. Absolutely love this thing. Been actually toying with the idea of sending it out for full rebuild just to get it like new. The one thing I am going to do, and we'll do a video on it, is it's a little short for me, so I'm going to add some probably 8-inch risers underneath it, make a riser bed, and get it up off the floor a little higher for me. It has a 3-axis machine DRO with magnetic scales. I absolutely love those magnetic scales. I've been using them now for a while, and the machine DRO out of the UK, they're just good stuff. I've been very happy with them. And I got a little bitty drill press here that is just for deburring, so I keep my chamfering tools for small stuff. And my benches of all my miscellaneous tooling in here, like this is some of my electrical stuff. All of the spade drills, the spade holders, that stuff is in this drawer. My Morse taper drills up to 1.5 inch are in here. And I have other Morse taper drills that are, under 1.5 inch that are in other places as well. I just have so many of them. All of my drill sleeves for everything up to a 5 Morse taper is in here, along with some chucks. This is a 20N Jacobs with a 3 Morse taper. I think I have 4 of these 20N chucks around the place, so I actually like those for a lot of stuff. And taps and some more drills. And then the drawers down there, air fittings and miscellaneous. Then in this cabinet I got all my, well, this is my kind of my workbench, which is really cluttered right now because I just finished up a big prototype job for one of my good customers, and so I had all kinds of stuff laid out here, and now I'm just trying to get organized back up. This is a tool that I built years ago in a shop for driving out pins. So you lay your round stock in there with a pin in it, and you can drive your pin out, or something with a plate with a pin, you can drive the pin out. That I made a long time ago. That's been floating with me ever since. And I got a bunch of miscellaneous tools in here, my thread gauges, that kind of stuff. The most common things that I use on the mill, drills, taps, and common size end mills are in here. I have a small collection of files right there. It's all my thread checkers and miscellaneous little pieces that I use. I've got nuts for a bunch of different jobs that I do, repeat jobs, so the customer supplies me with a nut for making sure that it fits perfectly for their application. Some of this stuff, they want it so tight on that nut that it could almost cause problems. So this is a Schar's 0 to 6 inch micrometer set. These have been very good. I'm very happy with these. Multiple tip live center for the little Monarch, and expanding mandrels. I really do like these things. I use them a lot, so I've got several different sizes here. And just more miscellaneous stuff from this, you know, hydraulic type reference stuff. And then down here is my Jacobs 2J, and this is where I keep the 5C collet chuck as well. And I used to have my dividing head in here, but I moved them, moved the one dividing head, and then I bought another one of a different style, so they're both up here on this shelf set. I recently put this together. This is a 3-jaw chuck with a base plate for going on the milling machine. And just, there's lots of stuff here. Here's some castings that are works in progress that I'm working on for a friend of mine. And then all of my measuring tools are on these couple of shelves here. Got to do a little more organizing, but everything's there. And then there's my hydrostatic test pump for the steam engines, and an oil skimmer for the coolant on the Lion lathe. I use that on there the most. Here's a nice little aluminum angle plate that a friend of mine picked up, and he had no use for it, so it's here, and I might find a use for it eventually. This is my second Bridgeport mill that I picked up from the local high school. They tipped it over when they moved from the old school to the new school, and they decided it was junk, and I spent about $400 on it to replace the things they broke, and it's been a good mill ever since. And I added that power feed to it. I'm going to add a digital readout if I wind up keeping it, unless I buy a bigger vertical mill, then I will let this one go. And I got a rack over here I made for all of my collets and miscellaneous tooling. And again, the milling area is really filthy right now just because I just finished this job of a lot of pieces and components and prototypes. So this is my main Bridgeport. This is the second machine I ever bought. Second or third. Can't remember if the turret lathe was second or this was second, but this one is a very good machine yet. I've got a servo power feed I added and a digital readout. This is a glass scale digital readout. It was a cheap one off eBay I bought many years ago before I started the shop, and it's actually been extremely good. I've been very happy with that readout. And as you can tell, a lot of the grime and stuff is gone. My apprentice and I spent a lot of time polishing and scrubbing and cleaning machines. Like the Cincinnati was absolutely disgusting. So when you get back over here by my bench inside the front door, and that's under the apartment. So upstairs is my old apartment where I used to live, and since we built the house, I don't live up there anymore, so we just have a bathroom, like our second kitchen for doing canning and things like that, my wife does, and for our beekeeping stuff and all that miscellaneous stuff is upstairs. So that's up there in my office. Now we come over here. Here is the Lion lathe, we all know and love. So as you know, I bought the Lion last year and I've been very, very happy with it, and we just finished cleaning, year-end cleaning here, and then I got it all polished up and looking good, and now I got her dirty again because I've been doing a few jobs. And the next thing that's going to be, the next video I think is going to be an oil change on the Lion. The 1 year, I've changed oil since, you know, buying it, but I've since added some adapters to make oil changing a lot easier, and I'm going to show that. So we'll do a video on that, along with adjusting the one brake. The forward brake is in need of adjustment, so we'll get that done. But this is a 23 by 80 with a 4-inch spindle bore Lion lathe made in Bulgaria. None of that Taiwan stuff. I've been very, very happy with this machine. It was a sound investment. And right now all of my steady rests are right behind it, just under the gantry crane, which I also added last year. I didn't talk about that in the year-end New Year's Eve video, but I added that 2-ton gantry crane with 2-ton electric Yale hoist. So that was another great addition to the shop. And right here is a air-powered pump that I've got set up on this tank mounted to the post here for filling my oil cups. Now, laying here right now is a oil injector for an air system that I removed off of a piece of equipment that got scrapped, and I'm just letting it drain out here. And that's where I just keep my cutting oil, but I'll drain that in there, and a little bit isn't going to hurt that cutting oil at all. And here is one of my vise for the main shop. So this is set in concrete. The whole thing is, you know, mounted rigidly, set in concrete, but this top is pinned, so I can actually unpin it and rotate it. So it does move a little bit. There's a little wiggle there, but it's very rigid. If you need to torque on something, you can just pull all day long. I mean, I could hook the payloader to this thing, you know, a pipe wrench on a piece in this thing, and just peel it apart. I don't think this vise will go anywhere. And the main electrical panel in here is 400 amps, 3-phase coming into the shop, into the main shop. And there's more tooling storage here. So I got a lot of stuff, miscellaneous stuff. Here's my big end mills up to, I think, 2-inch. Everything up to 1-inch. This drawer here is completely full of high-speed steel, just tool lathe bits, and this one is completely full of brazed lathe bits. So lots of stuff in here. This drawer's got a customer's fixtures, all of their fixtures for their repeat work I do. And I got, you know, air fittings. Here's some boring bars and stuff. So lots of stuff in here. This is my Babbitt drawer. This is where the Babbitt and the Babbitt tooling is all at for pouring Babbitt. And there's the tooling for the Mori vertical slaughter. So this is where I keep all that. And if you're wondering what it takes to run a shop like this, as far as carbide, that's just one drawer of my carbide. I have multiple drawers around the shop because each machine takes different inserts. This is just the stuff that I use on the lathe. This is not the milling stuff. So there's a lot of stuff here. You know, plus you saw in one drawer down here there was a bunch more carbide, and there's stuff all over. And over here is my one of my storage racks, my go-to for everything. Like, there's the revolving tailstock chuck that I did a video on last year. This is some of my planer bolt downs that I made. That's where I keep those, and I use them frequently on the boring mill and the planer. Very handy. Here's, like I said, here's another 20N chuck. Here's another 20N. So I got lots of those. These are Magic chuck holders, Morse taper holders for the radial drill. So I'll take one over there and show you how that works. There's some of my Aloris tooling for the Lion lathe, and more of it is over on the bench over by the lathe, the tool cart. And there's some more miscellaneous tooling, clamping stuff, along with all of my T-nuts and 5/8 pull down rods and all that. So all that's right there, right behind the Lion. And then this machine here is my AV number 2 BMA6 sensitive drill. It's got a nice big flat table on it, very nice machine. And then down here is a foot pedal, and that is actually hooked to the motor. So if I want to tap, I just step on the pedal and it reverses. So very nice. And I added this light to it, so it lights up the work area real nice. Just a little halogen light. But this has been a real workhorse in the shop too. I've done a lot of work with this thing. Just a very good machine all around. And I got just a cheap pipe threader. I was looking for a pipe threader to do my steam engine, and I couldn't find a good rigid anywhere. You know, when you go to actually look for one, you can't find one, a rigid 535, and I found this for $200. Well, I'd say it was worth every penny, because I got all of my steam engine threading done, and then some. I did some for a second engine. I got just a cheap Harbor Freight pipe bender. This thing works good. Here's some miscellaneous stuff. Here's a part that I make for a customer. I do that several times a year for them. That's a wear component. Down here I got some big shaper vices that I bought for use on the boring mill. And then next to that is the pride of the fleet, probably. Well, next to the Lion. This is the Mori vertical slaughter. So it's a vertical shaper. This machine is very handy. Actually, the more I run it, the more I like it. But I mean, you can see it's in excellent condition. There's still scraping on the ways up there on the rim. It's a beautiful machine. This came out of Northern Ordnance, I think it was, out of, or Northern Pump. Built May of 1942 for Northern Pump over in Fredley, Minnesota. And this has just been an absolutely a great machine to have. I've been so thrilled to have it. And looking forward to doing this job. So we're going to cut a 1-inch keyway. This part has been scrapped. It came from a different vendor. Comes from one of my customers. They got it from, they do all the machining on it, and then they have it sent out to have the keyway cut in. Well, they screwed up the keyway, so it's scrapped. So I'm going to try it out, see if I can hold the tolerance they want, and if I can, then I get the job. So this will be a video coming up soon. This is the tooling, the tool holder that I made for this particular job. So I've already kind of tested to make sure I got enough travel and everything, and I just got to figure out how I'm going to hold it. So that video will be coming, not sure when, but it'll be soon. So just a very nice machine here. And another sub panel right there for the electric. So the shop is split up into many different, electrically different sub panels. You got the main panel, which powers just about everything over there, but then there's sub panels over in the utility room. There's a sub panel over here. There's the sub panel under the stairs, which powers the boring mill, the air compressor, and all that. There's a sub panel upstairs, and then I've got 400 amps coming in here off of the current transformer panel, the CT panel outside the utility hooks to. We run another line underneath the building to the weld shop, and I've got another 225 amp service back there of 208 volt 3-phase. So this shop is wired very well. Now here is the Carlton 1A 4-foot 11-inch column radial arm drill. And we just finished polishing this and cleaning it up, and it looks way better, but it's been a very good machine. I really do like this thing. Got a good deal on it, but I added or rewired, actually it's not plugged in. I got a light right here, shines down on the work. This is the magic chuck. So you just lift this up, and so here's our holder. There's a couple of balls that go in these grooves. You lift that up, and there, and it locks it in. Yeah, and then when you want to change it, you just pop it out. What I paid for the radial drill is what the magic chuck and all of the holders I got with it are worth. So I did very good on this buy. And this is my Skinner 6-inch mill vise that I just keep on here. I mount it in different positions for whatever I'm doing. So lots of different stuff. And a very, very handy machine. Little bit of stock. I just got this, somebody brought it over and dropped it off for me. Said, you can have it, just get it out of our way. And it's heavy. That's as far as I got with it. I'm going to move it yet with the rest of the stock, but that's solid 6-inch. And this is another new acquisition. This is a 4-foot by 3-foot by 18-inch angle plate. A friend of mine bought that other angle plate, that aluminum one, picked this one up too, and sold it to me for a reasonable price. It's in really good shape. Somebody did have a little accident, but all in all, it looks pretty decent. I'll get it up on the mill one of these days and just indicate it and see how it looks. But I'm very excited to have this. I did a bunch of work for another local shop that's got a boring mill, and they were super excited to see this. And then I told him what I paid, and he's like, "Whoa, you stole that." I'm like, yeah. Another machine here. This is my American Tool Works 8-foot planer mill. So this is a metal planer, but when I bought it, the company that had it was going to scrap it. They took the mill head they had on it off. They had retrofitted it entirely to this DC drive that's down here, with all DC control. And when I got it, this control was so bad. There was a box mounted up here, there was the box here, there was a box over there, and another box over there, and each one of them had switches on them to control this thing. So I rewired everything and moved it all into this panel, and this is all of my control for the table feed, a main power switch, the mill motor, and an emergency stop. So came out really nice. The machine's in pretty good shape. I do hold pretty good tolerance on the long stuff I'm doing, but I can do 8-foot 10 inches before I run off the bull gear. I just got a few things laying up here right now. I got these LED lights that the neighbor gave them to me, and I'm trying to figure out if I can mount them on here somehow. And a while back I started on this, and I haven't gotten back to it. I've just been too busy. But this is a press brake die I started milling on here, and so one of these days we'll finish that off. And there is my Hypertherm 85 plasma torch. I don't keep it back in the weld shop just because it's so filthy back there, but I've got this set up. Let me move this out. I've got it set up with an air tank under it. So I hook my air line, I run a 3/8 air line to this thing, and it charges that tank. So I always have air right at the machine. And then I'm taking my air out, running it through my filter regulator. This is another, I think actually this is lubricator, but it actually works to filter if you don't have any oil in it. And then a desiccant. And then it hooks right into the machine. And I plumb everything now with hydraulic hose. I just learned a long time ago that hydraulic hose will outlast anything else you're gonna ever use. And I, on a regular basis, will cut 3/4 inch and sometimes 1 inch with this plas. So it's been a good machine. Then over here is another tool rack, another shelving unit. got a bunch of angle plates up on top, my mag drill's up here. Here's some of the tooling I made for doing line boring, hold the bearings, which I have one of them down here. You probably remember that from the jib arm that I did. I used those. And then just a bunch of miscellaneous tooling in these boxes. Shell reamers, regular reamers, drills up to 2-inch. Here's some Morse Taper 6 tooling. These are my drills, 2-inch up to, I got a 3 and 31/32 drill in there. Some hold downs, my Morse Taper 6 sleeves, so a lot of Morse Taper 6 tooling in there, extension cords, and then here's some more fixtures and miscellaneous, like that angle plate, 12x16x14, that's the mate to the one that's on the boring mill right now. Here's a little angle plate. This fixture here is one that I built for drilling. There's a drill bushing right here, and I could drill a 3/4 inch hole through the side of a piece of 5-inch round stock, and then I would bore it, and it would receive a pin with a notch in it, and that would lock the pin in place. So that was what that job, or this fixture, was for. And I did that on the radial drill. This is a lifting fixture I built for a particular job, just to get it up in the lathe. And then there's a big, I think this is a 20-inch or 24-inch rotary table. I don't remember the make of this. I picked it up in an auction because I figured it'd be handy on the boring mill, and I haven't used it yet. But it's here, it's paid for, so. And then here's another box of tooling for the boring mill. Here's the tool holder, so I can lock this into the spindle. It's a 2-inch straight shank adapter, and then this is all 2-inch straight shank to end mill holder. So I got all kinds of sizes in here. That looks like a 3/8 up to 1.5 inch maybe. And then these are TG100 collet holders, and I got some of my collets in here, TG100s. And I haven't used it yet because most of what I do on the boring mill, I don't really need this kind of stuff, but it's here, it's handy to have. So now we're on the other side of the curtain door. Here's more boring mill stuff. This is the stuff I use on a regular basis. Some boring heads, facing head, just all kinds of stuff. Drill, chucks, yeah, there's all kinds of tooling here. There's a line boring bar, and then there's some more boring mill stuff down there that doesn't get used as much, but there's a 50 flash change tool holder that fits the Morse Taper 6 spindle. So it'll 50 flash change to Morse Taper 6. Let's see, it's right there. There's 2 of them. And then I got a little bit of 50 flash change tooling that I can also use on the horizontal, the Cincinnati horizontal. And here is the beast, the Lucas 441B-48 horizontal boring mill. I have 4 feet of table travel, 4 feet of head travel vertically, 2 feet of spindle travel, and 54 inches of saddle travel. So the Z-axis here moves 54 inches. So very, very nice size machine. One of my customers has one that's significantly larger. I'm going to say 12 to 14 feet of travel on the table and the head. So very, very big machine. That table is huge. I think I could put my Toyota truck on there. So, but a very good machine. I'm very happy to have it. This is just a rolling tool cart, Harbor Freight special, but I like this one. All my wrenches, sockets, whatnot. More of my Aloris tooling for the lathe here. That's a D111 chuck mount or back plate, so that's going to be actually for another job that we'll do a video on of restoring this chuck. This chuck is a 4-jaw independent scroll. So each jaw is independently adjustable, plus it has a scroll. So you can either do the jaws individually, or you can, you know, put something in there, indicate it in, and then you use the scroll to open and close it. Now I don't know the repeatability, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna set this up for the Lion, and we're gonna find out what it'll really do. So I'm excited about this. This is a big one. I think it's 20-inch. So should be a good project and a good video series. I think it'll be 2 videos. We'll see. And we got the stairs over here going upstairs to the office, bathroom, kitchen, all that. And back here, here's the electrical cabinet for the Lucas. I'll show you guys all this. So these are all contactors. Nothing I'm not familiar with. All contactors right there too. Main power contactors. This thing has a braking feature that actually reverses the motor, so that's part of this circuit. And I have all the drawings for it, so it's been very handy to have that. Been fortunate. I haven't had too many issues, but I've had a couple, and with my background in electrical with the locomotives and stuff, this is almost nothing for me. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and with good drawings, it's real easy. So here is a belt lacer for lacing flat belt. This will do up to 12-inch belt, and I've used it for my steam engine stuff. So something I picked up a while back, and I'm just absolutely glad I have it. It's a Clipper 12-inch belt lacer. So now under the stairs is, you know, where we keep all the ugly stuff. My 5-horse, 3-phase, 2-stage air compressor. And then back there is a smaller compressor that is 2 3/4 horse 6 CFM pumps on there. That's my backup compressor, just, you know, for the small stuff. But this one's my main one now. I do everything with that, and then I added a much bigger air filter assembly to it, and very happy about the performance of them filters. Alright, well, let's head back into the weld shop now, and we'll get that over with. Oh yeah, don't forget about my Johnson. It's my big dirty Johnson. And if you guys have a Johnson bandsaw, I suggest you go to my Store Frontier account and get yourself a nice Johnson t-shirt. This has been a good saw. Been very happy with it. I couldn't tell how many miles this thing has on it. I've sawn so much material. And I've gone through a lot of blades. So back here is the dirty, filthy weld shop. So if you guys remember, a couple years ago I built this gantry crane back here for a particular job. We figured it out to be at about 7.5 ton capacity. I have 2 3-ton trolleys and 2 2-ton chain hoists on it, and that's how I do all the manipulation of one big job that I get, regular repeat job. So very happy with how this came out. It's been handy back here. Right here is a Rogers 50-ton hydraulic press. I bought this out of a high school in Duluth that closed up, and they auctioned off everything, and I was there for the shop stuff, and I think I did pretty good on that. This is my second welder. That is a Miller CP200. 200 amp, constant power. It's a 100% duty cycle. This one I have set up currently with flux core wire. It's hard facing wire for putting hard facing on like buckets and chipper knives and things like that. It's a dual shield, so I run CO2 with that because it takes a lot of gas. That's 35 CFH, I think. So it takes a lot of gas. And you can't weld a whole long time before that regulator frosts up, but that was my backup welder, and it turned into my hard-facing white welder, and it's been performing just fine for that. And just some stuff stored here out of the way, track jacks, all my chains for the truck. That's my Harbor Freight sandblast cabinet that I actually have set up with glass beads, so that's handy. That's where I store my gas bottles. The garage doors are 12 foot wide, 10 foot high. So that's pretty much how we get everything in and out of here, is these door on each end here. This grinder was given to me, and I really don't have a need for it, but I might set it up yet. But it's just kind of sitting in the way right now. I have to move it every time I need to use the bandsaw. This bandsaw is a Grob 4V18 with blade welder, and I bought this at that same auction I bought the Dake or the Rogers hydraulic press at. So I've been very happy with this saw. I've had it a few years now, and probably almost 5 years, probably 7, 8 years, and been very happy with it. I've done, actually this year I spent a bunch of money and upgraded my blade guides and everything, and I've been using it a lot more since I did that. And just storage back here. Got a cabinet with all my welding stuff and grinding wheels. I just got to do some more organizing. A couple bench grinders. That's a 12-inch bench grinder. This is my Chicago Dyson Crump 335 6-foot 35-ton mechanical press brake. I've bent 6 feet of 10 gauge. I don't know if I could do more or not, and I've done 2 or 3 feet of 1/4 inch on this, so it's been a good press brake. Very, very nice piece. It needs to be cleaned up and painted, but when I got it, it was OSHA-fied and basically unusable. They had air cylinders on the clutch and push buttons, and you couldn't even operate the thing. I mean, when you're running a press brake, you need your support in the work and all that. How are you supposed to push all these stupid buttons? I mean, I can understand if you got a simple part that you set into a fixture and you hit the buttons and it does it, and then you grab and pull them out, but not when you're doing bigger parts and complex bends and things like that. It's just, you can't have that crap on something you're going to do, real work on. And over here is my Edwards 50-ton hydraulic iron worker. This is a punch, an angle iron shear, so it'll shear angle 3x3 by 3/8 or 4x4 by 1/4. Shears flat 1/2 inch by 10 or 3/4 by 4, and then everything underneath that. And notcher right here, and before anybody has a hissy fit, the guard is here, but a lot of what I do is with the notcher is cutting, scribing lines and cutting and doing things like that. So that guard is absolutely useless and always in the way. So, but it is there. So you safety police don't freak out. But very, very good machine. This came from another local shop, owner retirement, closed up, and I bought it off him. So very happy with this purchase. Then my welding table is 3 foot by 5 foot, made out of 1/2 inch by 4 flat bars, welded with, spaced for clamping. This has been a good table. It's not absolutely perfect, but for everything I've been doing, it's been working just fine. And when there's something that needs to be more precision, I've got a different solution for that, that makes it go so much better too. So and we'll get into that eventually. And right here is a Profax weld positioner. I bought this quite a few years ago, and I used the snot out of it. It has been very handy. And I got it up on this stand so it's my height. And got the 3-phase or the 3-jaw chuck on there. Just a great machine. I really use it a lot, and along with my pipe rollers. Not only the one I built, but I had another one of those shop closures, and I managed to pick up a set of these. So I've got 2 sets of pipe rollers for doing all my conveyor rollers that I do. This is an old Powermatic belt grinder with disc on that side, and that's pretty much what I use for all of my deburring is the belt. So very handy. And then, you guys remember the Victor copy torch. The last job I did on this, I wish I would have had time, I would have done a video, but here's the pattern I made. This is a lift arm for an ASV skid steer, and there was boring mill work. It was a big job. This was 1.25 inch plate, and I set it up and it cut it out absolutely beautiful. You could not tell that it was made here versus made at ASV, so came out very nice. So here's a spool of my 1/16 inch ER70 S6 welding wire that I actually use on my Miller CP300. I got it set up with 045 right now, but I do run a lot of 1/16 on that. And here again, another vise set in concrete. And I need to braze this one back together. I broke the weld, torquing on it so hard. I do not like swivel base vices. Absolutely hate them, and it's so hard to find a vise that is non-swivel. So I usually wind up welding them up and making them rigid, because it's just, they're garbage otherwise in my applications. The welder, I run C25 gas, and right now 045. So very, very nice welder. I've had this thing a long time and absolutely love it. It's a 3-phase machine, along with the CP200 is a 3-phase machine, so very good welders. And my oxypropane cutting torch there, which I use those bottles on the burn table as well. So I only run propane anymore. I quit using acetylene due to a bad gas supplier in my area, and now we've gotten a new gas supplier that's actually good. But I'm just going to stick with propane because I fill them myself. And there's my portable welder. That is a P&H Bug. This thing actually came off the Milwaukee Railroad, and this thing is incredible. I absolutely love this welder. I've resurrected it a few times, but I can do some amazing work with this thing. I do track welding as well, so repairing switch points and things like that. So I got a job coming up. I don't know if I'm going to film it, but I got to go weld up a switch point to get through winter, and then I'll go back out and do a full rebuild on that point. Unless things go well, I'll just do it now, but I might do a video on that. I haven't decided yet. And here's another job that just came in, and we'll do a video on this one. These are 3-inch bars. I need to thread 12 inches on each end. This was started by another shop, and they realized they were in over their head, and now this job comes to me because the Lion can handle it. And the customer supplied the nut they're using. They want to make sure it fits perfectly. So even measuring threads over wires and everything, I've had some issues over the years, the nut quality not being great, so we just kind of always tell the customers to, you know, do you have a nut that you want used? Then we can double check and make sure, because if the nut is undersized, then we need to undersize the threads on the rod. Otherwise they're going to have problems. So even if you go to the book specs, I've had lots of problems with these bigger nuts over the years. So, and I think it's the quality of the source they're getting it from. I think they're, you know, a lot of the customers get the cheapest they can, and that's what you get. So that job we'll probably do a video on. And then you all remember the preheat post-heat table right here, sitting there waiting for the next job. And over here is just a kind of my store all rack back here in the weld shop, just bits and pieces, my drops, clamps, some jacks, the pipe beveler is back there, more welding wire, some extra torches, some fixtures, grinders, just all my miscellaneous is in here. And I need to sort through this one of these years and just get it organized again. And the Dake 4M arbor press. This is a 5-ton arbor press. Yeah, that's a piece of white oak. I sawed off my sawmill. But that's a 4-ton or 5-ton arbor press. So I use that a lot if I'm doing any broaching. Otherwise, you know, I use the vertical slaughter for cutting keyways and whatnot. And that's the weld shop. Oh, well, not all of it. That's a Clark, I believe, car loader forklift, built for loading box cars. And that's only lifts 6 feet. It's good for like 2,500 pounds, but I pushed it past that, and it's been a great little forklift. I've used the snot out of it over the years, and just very happy with it. But I definitely could use a bigger forklift here in the shop. It's a nice size. I really don't want to go any bigger physically. I mean, it just fits everywhere. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour, and you got an idea of stuff that's coming up. The next few videos, you got the keyway, oil change on the Lion, that threading job. There's a few different things in the works and a few different things coming. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed the shop tour. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.